Peace. So what's going on? So today, I just want to talk about the children and the parent relationship and some of the misconceptions and some of the things that occur. You know what I'm saying? As parents, we have to understand and realize that, first of all, our children are blessings to us. You know what I'm saying? They were giving to us. They don't belong to us. They were giving to us in other things. That's my perspective. And on the process of that being my perspective, I also want to state that, for the record, that, you know what I'm saying, a parent has a job to do, which is to raise the children, to raise them with etiquette, to raise them with manners, morals, to raise them in such a way that they are able to make wise decisions later on in their own lives. You understand? Equipping them with the right tools and the right resources that they may be able to, like I said, make wise decisions later on, have good judgment. Good judgment comes from experiences. Good judgment comes from seeing other people make good judgment calls. You know, a child is influenced by what they see. A lot of times they are influenced by their surroundings, by the environment. They're also, again, influenced by parents, friends, community, teachers, and so on and so forth. I've discussed this in another video on a totally different topic, but some of the same issues may have, you know, intertwined, because a lot of things about life, they cross-reference. They intertwine. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's correlations to life. You see? So, and this is a correlation. Once a child gets to a certain point, the parent no longer has as much say-so as they may have had in the child's life after a particular point of the child's own life development and growth processes or whatever. After a certain age, that child begins to make decisions. And those decisions that child makes, you know what I'm saying, it could and usually has a connection to others around them. See, whenever you make decisions, you know, there are other people who may be affected by the decisions you make, which is why we want to reinforce the ideal of making wise decisions. You understand? Taking into consideration others when you make these decisions. You know what I'm saying? If it's a decision where it may involve others and they may have some be affected by that particular decision, or there are decisions that you just have as an individual that you just have to make on your own. You see what I mean? But parents can't always be the blame for some of the decisions that the children make. Like I said, after a certain point, the kids are on their own. You know what I'm saying? The adults have to step back a little bit and let the kids do what they do. You understand? And let them find their way, because now they're building their own life. So they have to separate themselves. You know what I'm saying? At times, you will have to separate, you know, and others have to understand that also. Other people who may be looking in from the outside on the situation and saying, well, you know, the parents didn't do their job when they raised that child, or blah, blah, blah. No, the parents may have done an excellent job raising the child, but the child may not have taken certain things to heart in that raising. They know right from wrong, but they make bad decisions. And we've all made bad decisions in our lives. But some of us make more bad decisions than others. But the thing is that you can't necessarily blame those things on the upbringing of the parents. But then there's times when you can do that, because the history of the child can show you the lack of upbringing. When you know that this child may have been in foster homes in different places, or tossed between family members, or broken family structures, so on and so forth. And don't get me wrong, just because the family is broken doesn't mean that success can't come out of the family, because I'm not saying that. I'm saying these are circumstances, you know what I'm saying, where it could lead to a person having some issues. You know what I mean? But the reality is that the parent are not the fault, unless the parent is in some form of extreme adversity that they can't raise the child properly, it endangers the life of the child. That's a different situation. But when the child is raised up, regardless of a one-family home or a two-family home, and raised up properly with those proper tools, and they still decide to make bad decisions later on in life, and they do certain things, they may harm others or whatever, that has nothing to do with the parent. At times, most times, because the parent has raised their child with value. Now, does the child value themselves? That might be a different situation depending on, like I said, the life experiences that this child goes through in their developing years and going into their prepubescent years, into adolescence, and so on and so forth. You see what I mean? So you can't blame the parents for every situation that a kid does. You can't do it. It's not fair to the parent, because the parent may have done their job. And think about the parent who's done their job, and to see that their child has not learned the lesson, or going through negative lessons, finding their own way throughout life, because for them, instead of hearing the lesson being told to them and understanding that other people may have went through the lesson, that's not good enough. Experience may be the best teacher for some people, and they learn through experience never to do it again. That may happen for some. That could be a big situation. You know what I mean? So it's not that they didn't listen, it's that it didn't apply to them in that manner. See, this is where multiple intelligences come in also, because everybody learns differently. So you may tell your child something and they may hear you, but it doesn't fit into their paradigm, because they may be hands-on. They may learn differently. You know, they don't learn from lecture, but they learn from hands-on. They learn from actual application, being put in the environment to see certain things. You know what I mean? So we have to take all this into consideration when we're dealing with our children and when we're dealing with ourselves, because the parent may feel like a failure if the child does certain things or makes bad decisions later on in life. The parent may say, man, I ain't do my job. No, you did your job. You can't go back on your own self. You can't, nobody wrote a book on parenting that I know of. Nobody really knows how to, this is something that we learn as we go on through life. Parenting is a constant development. At least for me, it is. I'm still learning how to be a parent. And I got 4 kids and 2 of them are grown. You see what I'm saying? So it's a constant learning process. But with that being stated, I just wanted to share that this morning. You know what I mean? That specifically. You know what I mean? When children make bad decisions, it's not a reflection. Possibly it may not be a reflection of the upbringing. It may be a reflection of them themselves finding their own way. You can't always knock the parent, because the parent may have done their job. And with that being stated, peace.